Hi everybody, welcome. And here are Pip and I again. We're talking about conscious parenting, and we're here to answer some questions that have been coming from people we've been talking to about joining this program, and thought it'd be useful to share with you all. So yeah, shall we get straight into it, Pip, and talk about these these questions that have been coming up for people?
Yeah, definitely. So the first question that we've had sent our way is about the depth of the program. So we've spoken about the fact that this is for people who have already started on their journey with self-reflection. But the question is, so do I need to be at some kind of level or some kind of point on that personal growth path to be able to join?
It's such a good question, but it's such a hard one to answer because there's no we've not got grades, have we, like in high school, to be able to say, yeah, you want to be at this level or this age, or so I think so you've just mentioned in that intro bit there, you just said about like the self-reflection aspect, like, yeah, you already want to be in and interested in self-reflection, self-development, but particularly from that I sometimes get hesitant about using the word spiritual, but certainly you want to be interested in the fact there's something else going on. You want to already be in some kind of exploration that it's not just this material reality as it is, that that there is a higher intelligence, a greater consciousness, that there's a that there's something much greater than us running the show. And you already really want to have done some of that work on yourself. Like, this probably isn't going to be your first foray into that exploration. Like, you've probably already had some shifts in experience. You've already realized that, yeah, all the answers aren't in your limited human mind, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know, what else would you add, Pip?
Yeah, I think I'm in exactly the same place. For me, it's supporting people, parents who have at least an inkling or an interest in the systemic nature of humanity and family systems, so that they can follow that curiosity into illuminating that maybe the way that this is playing out for me and my family and my relationship with my children isn't as simple as something that needs to be fixed between us, and that maybe there's something bigger going on, and maybe it is has origins in my ancestors, and just holding just maintaining an open mindset to that, wondering and seeing if something can come from that. So I guess parents who have applied that curiosity and openness of mind to themselves previously, or are used to that as a tool for inquiry.
Yeah, so hearing that, it's like that you're curious enough about how things work enough that you see these patterns, and you don't instantly shut them down or assume it's the other person that's the problem. It's like you've already done enough exploration that you know that if you're seeing a pattern, if it keeps playing out, if you're not loving it, there's something deeper to explore. Like, yeah, there's something more to see. And we talked about this in one of our other videos. I loved that phrase you used, that paradigm shifters. It's like you already kind of have that role in life of being the paradigm shifter. Like, you're already the one who's having conversations and exploring stuff that perhaps most of your friends and family aren't exploring. You're the one who knows that there's a better way, and you know that it's your own inquiry and your inquiry into the deeper, like you said, the deeper dynamics and the deeper interrelationships and the conditioning that we're experiencing that's creating this repeating over and over again, same. Yeah,
I think that sums it up really well. If you feel like you are a paradigm shifter, you have to have been at a point where you are aware that there might be a paradigm, and that's the nuance, isn't it? That it isn't just the happening between me and another individual. There's something wider, and so yeah, that's the essence of it, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Love it. Love it. Great. So perhaps a more simple one to respond to then, Pip. This is a very, very obvious one, but also very important to speak to, because it's not necessarily that obvious, in fact, as I say that. So it's the question of whether your kids need to be a certain age to be able to join this. Like, are you working with just parents of little ones, parents of teens? You know, what's the deal with that?
Exactly, and common question, because lots of things that are being offered around parenting are absolutely focused on kids at just a certain age. And the answer to that question is that we have a real hope and wish and desire that this is a group of people who come with children of all ages, because in that diversity of experiencing parenting at different points in the journey will be a wonderful unfolding and lots of wisdom that we can tap into. So yeah, it's easy to say that really that we are hoping that this program is attractive to people who have just had new babies and toddlers and teenagers, and all the way through to children who are now adults. Yeah, all of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm seeing with that how that thing we just said in the first response about the repeating patterns, like we can see that sometimes through different ages, like, oh, my child has completely changed, but this pattern is still playing out. Like, that's a great indication, isn't it? So that's another brilliant thing to bring to that diversity of age groups. It's seeing what's changing and what's not. And yeah, very cool.
And I think also building the community around people who can say, this is how I experienced it at that age, and not that it's right or wrong, but that there's support in that.
Yeah, so, definitely. Yeah.
So the next question we had was, what kind of challenges can people bring to this program?
Yeah. So really, from my perspective, it's anything. We are both, I'll speak for you, Pip, but then tell me if this is completely wrong. So from my perspective, we are both in the business of working at a level which means what we bring works with anything. Like, whatever level of challenge you bring, we're working at such a level of principles of how things work that everything applies to it. So it means the door is open for whatever you're experiencing, whether it's seeming like huge stuff that you're handling and navigating to what might seemingly be small stuff. It doesn't matter. Like, the universe doesn't do magnitude. The human mind does magnitude. But when it comes to this exploration, what matters is what that foreground experience is pointing you back to. So if I use a classic example that I had when my kids, particularly when they were younger, and obviously when they're younger, they're generally more demanding of your time. And I used to find it really challenging when I would find both of them would come at the same time, wanting my attention, wanting me for something. And I would feel completely torn of who to help first. And it would seem like they were both right here. I need you, I need you, I need you. And I just would get stressed. I would get stressed and I would get frustrated. I would often end up shouting at them because I'd be like, for God's sake, just stop it. One of you at a time, you know, that kind of thing. This was way before any of all of this stuff. And I would have loved to have had this program earlier in my parenting, but you know, there we go. But so what I know now, and what I came to see through that kind of experience and bringing that kind of experience to this kind of exploration on my journey, once I'd begun it, it was to see that, oh, that's nothing to do with them. In fact, that experience was exactly designed in that way so that I would suffer in that frustration and stress, so that I would eventually turn around and go, okay, so what is it in me? What is it that I'm believing? What am I carrying in that circumstance? What am I making it mean that's leading to me then feeling frustrated and stressed and shouting at them? And of course, it revealed all sorts of stuff at the conscious level of Helen around, I need to help and I need to be good and I need to do things straight away, and I need to do it perfectly, whatever all the beliefs were that were floating around, that were being believed and then creating that experience. But then I've seen it deeper and deeper and deeper. That's the thing with this work, we can get that same lesson coming around again and again, and it just takes us deeper and deeper and deeper into deeper levels of belief that sometimes are quite invisible to us. And that for me is where your constellations come in beautifully, because that then unearths and reveals the patterns that were driving that reaction in me, but at some of the very deepest levels, which otherwise would remain hidden. So yeah, yeah, my point is that in response to the original question of what kind of challenge, it's like, it really doesn't matter what the surface challenge is, because if it's a challenge, that's all we need. Because if it's a challenge, that's inviting us to look behind the curtain, like, let's look deeper into what's happening within your experience with that. Yeah, and as I say, I think yours just takes us to that absolute brilliant depth of exploration. But yeah, would you add stuff?
Yeah, totally. The only thing that was occurring to me as you were speaking is that part of me is kind of thinking, don't worry about what you bring, because it's only the entry point and probably not where we'll go. So you'll be possibly bringing the point of pain that has catalyzed you to come to the program, which is wonderful. Maybe that's why it was even there. But where it takes us, we don't know. And I think the only other thing I want to add, because of a few people I've spoken to about attending the program, is that I wouldn't want anyone to worry that there's anything too minor or too severe. We're open to all of that. So not to be scared by, oh my goodness, no way, my stuff's big and it's not for this program, I'd be embarrassed to bring it. And similarly, I've only got a few little things, because it takes us on journeys that have no idea where we'll end up.
Yeah, I love that. It's doorways, and so if there's a thing, there's a thing, and that thing is a doorway, and that's what we're interested in. Because it's the walking through that leads us to those depths of clarity and groundedness, isn't it? So yeah, through the fears and out the other side. Beautiful. So when are the calls then, Pip? A very wonderful, practical and useful question. When are the calls?
Yeah. So we are due to start on the 7th of September, and we will meet every other week, and we will start at 7 o'clock in the evening, and we will be wrapped up by 9 p.m. And I think the program takes us all the way through to the 22nd of February, with some breaks around December, obviously, when all parents tend to be quite busy.
Yeah, into the depths of Christmas. Lovely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the lead up to that and what comes out for exploration at that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it is a 6-month program. It is a commitment in terms of that time, because we want to support people to go deep and therefore get bigger transformations. So it's fair enough to assume that some people might not be able to make every single call. So what's that like?
Yeah, and I think this is the question that I get asked most about the programs that I run is, oh, I've checked the dates and there's one or there's two that just don't work, and I really want to welcome those parents. That is what it is to be a parent, right? Busy and managing family calendars with multiple commitments. So we really would hope that people can absolutely make the majority, so they can really get the most out of the program, because it is a big commitment of time and money and energy. And but certainly if there's a few dates that just don't work, I'd love people to just have a chat with us, and let's find a way to welcome them in and help them to feel part of the community. And also, help them understand that there'll be video calls that allow them to stay connected and catch up, so that they can be part of the program if there's a few dates they can't make.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that sense of inclusion feels really important, actually. I've had some visuals coming to mind around how we'll begin when we set off, and kind of a really nice visual metaphor of coming into the space and how we'll all be together. And so I really love the idea of, if people have been away because they'd been unable to make a call, and then being able to welcome them back in, come and take your shoes off, grab a coffee, come and join us. Yeah, come back and take your seat again. And it's yeah, that's the kind of, I've got this really warm vibe about it in that way, that it's going to be so warm and safe and welcoming and inclusive. And yeah, absolutely. You miss a call, no worries, you're just straight back in there. And yeah, let's carry on. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
cool. Thank you, Pip. See you soon.
Thanks.